All right, what's going on, Black Speakers Network family? Welcome to another BSN Speaker Spotlight. Again, my name is Brian Oles, president and founder here at Black Speakers Network, where our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. And so Speaker Spotlight is our series that we are super excited to be able to share with you so many of the brilliant, talented, experts that we have across the Black Speakers Network community. And these are 5-minute, yes, you heard me right, 5-minute rapid fire interviews that we have a chance to bring to you in an effort to ignite your curiosity as well as to connect you to perhaps your next speaker. And so perhaps you are in the process of planning your next seminar, a workshop. We have virtual events, hybrid events, conferences, podcasts. You name it, you could probably find the talent and the experts you need here in Black Speakers Network. And so these 5-minute rapid fire interviews are designed to kind of give you a taste of what it is that our speakers focus on. And if you want to learn more information, if you want to get connected with anybody that we're going to be talking to today, you can find out more information on our Black Speakers Network directory at blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker directory, located right underneath the screen. So that's being said, I'm ready to jump right into it. We have a number of speakers waiting backstage. I believe we have 6 that we're going to be talking to throughout the course of the day. And guess what? They, again, as you will hear, are from all across the country. They have incredible backgrounds, incredible stories. And so we want to make sure that we have as much time as possible to get to everyone. And so that being said, I'm going to head on down to Douglasville, Georgia, and bring up our very first speaker, and that is Dr. Marcus Broadhead. And Dr. Marcus, welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight. And if you would, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Olds. I am a native New Yorker, transplanted to Georgia. I am a father of 2, husband of 1. And I have been in education for about 24 years now.
Nice. So first of all, I want to start there. And I know that you have 20 plus years of education experience. First, can you tell us where you started? Because I really want to get a sense and give people a sense of your background and your progression, because I know that you've been a teacher, you've been an assistant principal as well as a principal. So can you give folks a little bit of background of how you got into education?
Well, I got into education based upon my frustration as a student, honestly. I thought of what I was experiencing as something that I wanted to change for myself. So I figured not just talk about it, let me do something about it. So I was fortunate enough to go ahead and go to school and get into education and be an English teacher. As opposed to being a rapper, I decided to be an English teacher. So I went into, because all Black men are rappers, right? So I started as an English teacher and then transitioned once I realized that I wanted to have more reach. So then I became an assistant principal in Georgia and then transitioned from assistant principal to principal, which I had a great experience being able to serve an entire community because it was about reach for me. So each transition was more so about what could I do for a community? How can I use my talents and gifts to be able to support a community? And with each opportunity, I was able to do so. So I've been privileged and fortunate to work in a very well economic area in terms of need. I've been able to work in areas that were impoverished and work in areas of working class, and had a variety of backgrounds of support to work in. So each one of those experiences helped me to have a broader net as to what I wanted to do and how I'd be able to support communities.
That makes perfect sense to me. And then, could you give people some perspective on what are some misconceptions that people have about educators, or just the education system? I think sometimes there's a general notion that teachers, educators, administrators should handle it all, and you truly are superheroes. But I don't think that's sometimes a fair burden that could be placed. So, is there anything that you want to, share to people just listening that common misconceptions that you hear about educators that you may want to dispel?
I think the greatest misconception is that a lot of us hang on the trauma side of our experience in education. So we think back to the most negative aspect of what it was that we experienced, and then that's what we paint a broad stroke of, or broad brush with regard to all educators. There are more people in the middle. I think all of us want to do well for our kids, want to be our best for our kids, and I think that the greatest thing that we can understand is that everyone has a part, right? So if we understand what my part is as a parent, what my part is as a teacher, my part as an administrator, once everyone takes a grasp and takes control of their part, then it would truly impact the types of change that we want to see in education, versus pointing fingers saying it's the parents' fault, or it's the administrator's fault, or it's the teacher's fault. It's our fault. It's an our problem. It's an our solution. And the more that we can grasp onto those ideas and that concept, then I think we'll see the changes that we need to see in education.
Perfectly said. And so, right now, I know you focus a lot on leadership. Who is the ideal audience that should be reaching out to you, or who do you enjoy serving the most?
I like to go places where growth is necessary. I think that in every public education sphere, there is room for opportunity. There's room for growth, and I think that educators in general, educational leaders are people that I focus on, because my biggest thing is transforming school culture. I think that a lot of times we become victim to our own communities where we don't see where we can grow, and being able to be supported through a very healthy change in a process is something that I like to be able to do, is come in and remind people of our purpose, remind people of our focus, remind us of our power within the things that we are here to do. And in any community that we are seeking growth, especially in public education, where growth is essential and support is essential, those are my target audiences, because I think there's always an opportunity for change and a good, healthy shift, especially during these periods of times where we are pretty much at a loss as to what we need to do and how we need to do it.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. And then the last question we always end with, Dr. Marcus, is what do you want to be remembered for? At the end of the day, what do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah. I definitely want to be remembered as somebody who cared, somebody who really didn't just talk about issues or concerns, but really was someone who was solution oriented, who wanted to get their hands dirty and be a part of making an impact that was bigger than myself, to be exponential in that way. And I think it all comes down to care, empathy, solutions, someone who just really mattered at the end of the day. And I think mattering in a way that it was impactful for the communities that I came in and supported. So I think that would be the greatest thing for me, is to feel like I was enough in every situation that I was put in, and I added value.
Absolutely love it. Dr. Marcus, I want to thank you again. I appreciate you, of course, for sharing those nuggets of wisdom with us. And of course, thank you for being a part of the Black Speakers Network community. We need more educators. We need more folks that are serious about, not just educating, but also, ensuring that the folks that we are entrusting to educate have the leadership to be able to get the youth to the next level. So appreciate everything that you're doing, and look forward to continuing to work with you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right. As you guys can see, these are 5-minute rapid fire interviews. And I absolutely love being able to just get a sneak peek of what each person is focused on. We have focused on incredible research. We have individuals who are on the ground working day in and day out to ensure that folks are getting access to the tools and resources that they need. And so, again, if you see someone here that you want to connect with, like Dr. Marcus, make sure that you jump over to blackspeakersnetwork.com / speaker directory, and you can find him and get connected to him very easily. So our next speaker, we are going. So we were in Georgia, so we're going to keep on going down I-95, right on down to Knoxville, Tennessee, and we have Miss Drocella with us. And Drocella, I want to go ahead and welcome you to the BSN Speaker Spotlight. And if you don't mind, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Brian, and everyone who is listening. My name is Drocella Mugorewera. I am a mother, I am a spouse, I am a grandma, I am an aunt, I am a friend, I am a speaker, a coach, and trainer. I'm also known as America's #1 perspective in Tumbero expert. So I speak 5 languages in Tumbero, says that translate by perspective in Kinyarwanda. So if you want to learn another language today, in Tumbero is one word in Kinyarwanda. I am resettled in Knoxville after fleeing persecution in 2009. So, and I served as executive director for Bridge Refugee Services and also as a former member of parliament and government in Rwanda. So refugee integration is one of the areas where I focus, but also I help young and middle-aged women struggling with trauma, poverty, so they can overcome all setbacks and thrive. So these are the people I care about. And I'm glad you have me, Brian.
Yeah. Wow. That's such a great introduction because you knocked out like 3 of my questions all at once. But I just feel like you have such a fascinating story coming over from Rwanda. And now that you're taking such a, what had to be a very traumatic experience and helping so many other refugees navigate that experience. So I definitely want to talk a little bit more about that. But before I do, can you just give us a little bit more insight into what led to that? And 2008, 2009 wasn't that long ago. And so, can you share with us just a little bit about anything that you feel would be helpful in helping us understand, what led to your journey here?
So refugees normally flee persecution based on race, religion, political opinion, or they are fleeing wars and violence. So in 2008, I had to flee because of persecution. I left my country and I lost a country. I lost a family. I didn't see my children for 2 years. I didn't see my husband for a year. The journey was painful, but also hopeful. And I'm grateful that America gave me a chance to live and serve. So the refugees normally do not rely on anybody besides the welcoming communities. And I'm grateful that people and organizations that welcomed me helped me to be on my feet. The goal normally is to help them to be self-sufficient as soon as possible so they can be on their feet. So I want to tell you that even if I had a big experience, my first job was just for $6.55. It was shocking, but also motivating so I can be my own rescue. So from $6.55, I became the executive director for the same resettlement agency that welcomed me. And then in 2013, when I attended the network marketing meeting, my friend Sue Carney introduced me to that industry, and I met my mentor, Rick Gutman, who told me that mindset and attitude is everything, and I can get multiple streams of income. And here I am today. Now I'm a speaker, coach, and I can tell my story the way people just can follow, and then it can heal many spirits and it can inspire many.
Yeah, so I know one of your core programs, and again, incredible story. But so one of your programs is focused on exile to executive, right? And so you help individuals navigate the disruption, stress, and confusion of adjusting and successfully integrating into a new place. And so again, we're talking about refugee immigration. What is it that you want non-refugees, like Americans, let's say, since that's most of our audience, what do you want people to know about the refugee experience that may be a misconception or just miseducation around, what actually happens or in that process?
I want to let Americans know that refugees are fleeing because of that persecution, and they are not coming to take resources. Actually, there are more resources for everyone in the world. And also, refugees are bringing social, cultural, and economic values into our communities. So if you invest in them, it's a humanitarian program, and they give forward in a few years compared to what they gave you. It's like if we had to free now, you and I, we have just one clause. When we will need people to give us clothes, we need to be fed, we need housing. So in that area, if you take it as human being, we need to be more welcoming, we need to be more loving and share support. And then they win and we win. So we have our shared community, we thrive together.
Perfectly said. Yeah, I think it's there can often be like misconceptions there. I think you kind of dismissed a few of them, but I'm so glad that we have an advocate, within Black Speakers Network who could talk about it and not just talk about the virtues of it, but also be a resource to help refugees go through that experience. You're the only person that I know that does this work, and I think it's so powerful. The last question, as we leave with everyone, Drocella, I'll leave for you. What is it that you want to be remembered for? So, what is your legacy?
I want to be remembered for somebody who is, if you don't invest, you don't harvest champion. So you have to invest time, you have to invest in yourself so you can grow. I also encourage people not to run by themselves. If you need to develop, hire a coach or a mentor. And lastly, not least, Brian, surround yourself with the winners like you. If you want to achieve something, do not run by yourself and follow the habits of successful people. Then you will get where you want to be.
Absolutely, well said. Y'all can hang out with me at Black Speakers Network because this is where you can find me and Drocella, and you can find her on our directory as well at blackspeakersnetwork.com. Drocella, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And if you are someone that is looking for more information or looking to bring in a speaker, expert, thought leader around refugee immigration, make sure that you go online, blackspeakersnetwork.com, and connect with her. So thank you. And thank you for being a part of the Black Speakers Network community as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And if you are qualifying, just sign up. You will not regret your investment.
Hey, you heard it from her, not me. Thank you, Drocella. All right. So we are rocking and rolling. We've heard from two speakers already. And the next speaker that I'm going to is right in my own backyard. I love talking to my DMV people. So from Baltimore, Maryland, we got Shauna K in the building.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Shauna,
Good.
tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Shauna K. I am a lifestyle design coach and brand cultivator. I work with visionary people, the folks that have all those big ideas in their heads, those brilliant people, to get things out of their minds and into the world so that they can make an impact in the communities that they were meant and called to serve. I think that was fast enough. Did I hit the quota?
I think so. So tell us how you got into this work, because this isn't something you just kind of wake up and start doing, I don't think.
No. So I, by degree, I'm an electrical engineer by degree. I went to the great Morgan State University, and I worked inside of a good old government contracting job for quite a while. And when I say quite a while, I mean about 18 months. It took me about that long to realize it just wasn't for me. And so I left that almost under like the unction of a calling, I want to say. I felt very like led away from my cubicle to start something. What I started is not where I ended up today. I started full confession, I started a hand greeting card business that turned into a graphic design company, that turned into a brand consultation company. And really what I found is that at the root of it all, if I can help people connect with the idea that they're here for a reason, and help them take that reason and turn it into a voice, turn it into a message out into the world, then I can live fulfilled and free. And so that is how I got here. That is like the shortest version I've ever come up with.
That is fine. We challenge you here, the speaker spotlight, and you nailed it. So I just want to go to your bio really quick because I think this
Sure.
is so fascinating. You are a brand cultivator,
Mhm.
consultant to visionary people,
Mm-hmm.
and creative communication specialist.
Yep.
I had not heard of the term creative communication until I met you. I know we've done lifestyle design summit and a lot of different things, but to the uninitiated, can you tell the people what creative communication is and why do we need a specialist for it?
Absolutely. So you've heard of marketing, right? Everybody's heard of the word marketing. If you've ever started a business or done anything in the world outside of a traditional 9 to 5, and maybe even inside of that 9 to 5, you've heard of the word marketing. Guess what? Marketing doesn't work. Not anymore. There are too many ways for you to get one-to-one with people in this age of social media. Everything exists in the palm of people's hands. So whether or not somebody actually sees a TV ad anymore, which, that would be like the core of regular traditional marketing, that's optional. Most people don't even have cable anymore, right? Like everybody's got their streaming services. So what is creative communication? It's about knowing the people that you're talking to, knowing the people that you're called to so well that you know how to almost have a one-on-one conversation with them in the place where they show up the most, whether it's in the palm of their hand or on their computer through like a YouTube kind of a thing, or maybe they're, whatever it is. Let me not give it away too much. I guess it's the thing y'all supposed to call me for. But anyway, but that's ultimately what it is. It's about creatively getting in touch with the people that you are called to serve in a way that makes them feel like you're talking to them one-on-one as often as humanly possible.
That makes perfect sense. And so, speaking of people that you're called to serve, I know one audience that you are absolutely called to serve is visionary entrepreneurs. People that have something to say to the world. I hear you say that all the time, and through that, you're focused on this concept of lifestyle design, and you have a signature program called Big Brand Theory. And so, tell me why. First of all, why visionary entrepreneurs, and then how does Big Brand Theory, why was Big Brand Theory created as a solution to actually solve that problem? Again, obviously this isn't like a 30-second answer, but to the best of your ability.
I'm going to do it though. I'm getting it. I'm going to do it. No, but I'm so glad that you asked that. The reason why visionary entrepreneurs, really that answer is kind of out of my control. Those are just my people. But as I think about it, as I mine the data, what I think is that visionary people are the people that most people are not helping. So I feel like that was like a mouth thing, but visionary people are the people that most people are not helping. Visionaries are inundated and burdened with so many ideas and so much information and so many skills and so much experience and so much stuff that's happened in their past. And nobody has really created a step-by-step process to help all of that jumbledness come out into something that is seamless and something that they can be proud of in the world. So that's actually the answer to why Big Brand Theory. Big Brand Theory is the step-by-step process that allows visionary people to literally get out of their own way, get out of their head, not sit inside of that idea paralysis like we all know is possible, right? And get to a place of walking through a step-by-step, self-guided, self-paced process that not only leads to revenue in the bank, right? But it also leads to an understanding of yourself in a deeper way that all visionary people need. Did I make it?
I think you did it.
Okay.
All right, Shauna K. Well, this is all really, really fascinating. I think in general, one thing that I would just kind of love to know before I even get to the final question of, what do you want people to remember about you? How would people know, or let me ask you this, how would I know if I'm talking to somebody that you absolutely need to, talk to? This could be person or organization.
Sure. So there's a couple of things. If it's a person, typically what you'll hear them say is, I've been working on this, but really I think I'm going to do something like this. And maybe I think I'm going to do something like this. If they feel like there's 50 things they could do and they're talking about them all with the same level of interest, that's one of my people. That's a visionary. Or if you have somebody that's like, I've really been trying to get something out of me, but I don't know exactly what that something is. I just know that there's more. That's my people. Those are the visionaries. So that's really the two categories there. In a corporate situation or in a company situation, the people that I talk to the most are the folks that are like, I just need a new perspective. I need a new way to connect with my people. It's not that my company isn't working per se, but it's kind of, it's stale. Stale is a good word to put there. It's kind of stale and it needs life. It needs some vibrance. And I need to get from where I have been to this new place of connecting with my folks in a much more one-on-one kind of a way.
All right, beautifully said. And the last question I'll leave you with, like we leave everyone, Shauna K, is what do you want to be remembered for? Which is, I feel like this is a question that you help many other people find for themselves, but what is it that Shauna K wants to be remembered for?
And so in true fashion, this is actually a section of my program. So I have to say what I would say inside of the program. So all I want to be known for is this sentence. You are absolutely here for a reason. And it's your job to uncover it and rediscover it. That's it. You're absolutely here for a reason. And it is your job to uncover it and rediscover it. That's what I want to be known for.
Well, bonus points for making it rhyme. And I really much appreciate that. Shauna K is in the building with Black Speakers Network. Again, if you want to connect with her, she is on our website, on our speakers directory, blackspeakersnetwork.com. And Shauna K, thank you so much for sharing with us today, nuggets of insight. We have several BSN members who have gone through and are continuing to go through the Big Brand Theory material and have so many great things to say about it. And so if you're looking to get connected, make sure you reach out to Shauna. And again, thanks for being part of the Black Speakers Network community.
Thanks for having me. This was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. As we move forward, now hopefully you got a sense, a flavor of how these Speaker Spotlight interviews work. They are 5 minutes, and 5 minutes goes by pretty fast. You probably realize that by now. And you may even be asking the question to yourself, hey, how do I actually book one of these interviews? I would love to, do one of these. And the answer is it's very simple. We are making this available to all of our members. So if you are not yet a Black Speakers Network, the premium member is what we call you. The obvious answer is to join. And so you can go to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join, find out more information about what it takes to be a member and get started. We're happy to welcome you. And once you complete your speaker profile, we would love to interview you. Now, staying right here in the state of Maryland, I'm going to head on up Route 70, I-70, I believe, right on up to Frederick, Maryland, the land of covered bridges, and talk to the one and only Dr. Dee Bowden in the building. Dr. Dee, welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight. And if you don't mind, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, good evening, Brian, and thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. So I'm Dr. Dee Bowden. I'm originally from the great state of Boston. I now live in the great state of Maryland. Fun facts about me: I love Ferris wheels, smooth jazz, and great wines, both red and white. I'm an author of the book called Collect the Cash, and I teach business owners the art and science of collecting the cash and stop leaving money on the table.
That is a fun fact indeed. I did not know that, and it's rare to meet people that enjoy red and white. It's normally like polarized one or the other.
Yeah.
But yes, let's talk about collecting the cash because I know you did this. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in accounting, financial services, AR, whatever you want to call it, because I think that's a really interesting place to land. But most people don't realize how valuable this profession is. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started there?
Sure thing. Great question. So what had happened was about 15 years ago, I used to work for a small IT company outside of Boston, where I'm from. I got hired because they had $8 million in outstanding receivables. I collected $6 million in 60 days while working part-time, and then the unthinkable happened. The company went out of business. Fast forward to 2020, I'm watching businesses go out of business, and I'm wondering how many of them have outstanding sales on the books, but the money isn't in the bank. And so I decided to take my expertise and create Collect the Cash and talk about why it's so important to stop leaving money on the table. The saying goes like this: collect the cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank, but you must collect it first.
Yes, absolutely. Now, fun fact for you, my very first job out of college, I was working in accounts receivables for a staff and recruiting agency. And I didn't even know what we were doing until I didn't even know I was doing like 2 weeks later. I'm like, at aging, what's that? 30, 60, 90,
Yep,
but it's such an interesting industry. Now, you actually have gone on to collect, I believe, over $10 million for
I have.
companies. And you were actually recognized as a best revenue recovery specialist multiple years in a row.
Yep.
What is it about the collection process that you think entrepreneurs either don't understand or there's a misconception around?
Great question. So one of the things that entrepreneurs don't understand about collections is this: you must sales and AR go together. And here's the thing: if you were successful to land your client, you also have to be successful to land your client, deliver the product, invoice them, and then get paid. I think what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs don't like to ask their customer for their payments. But here's the thing: if you were strong enough to ask for the sale, you have to be just as strong to ask for the payment. Understand this: sales and AR go together, and like my saying is, it's collect the cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank, but you absolutely must collect it first. And if that's an area that you struggle in, then you can talk to someone like me who can teach you the art and science of doing this without messing up your relationships. That's why they don't do what they do.
Perfectly said. And I can understand that. To me, AR is still one of those weird things because I don't know anywhere else where you would do all this work up front and then you actually have to do more work just to
Right.
get money that you're owed anyway. And so, but I do see that as a disconnect, particularly in larger organizations.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you're doing this work. And
Thank
so,
you.
how will somebody know that they need to reach out to you? Like, is a particular company size? You're working with entrepreneurs, but if I was talking to somebody, how would I know to tell them like, hey, you need to talk to Dr. Dee Bowden?
Great question, Brian. First thing is, if you start to hear them say, my cash flow is low. If you start to hear them talking in terms of my net 30, my net 60, my net 90 is past due, and I've had challenges getting paid from my medium-sized clients, my corporate clients, or my government agency clients, they would have them absolutely reach out to me, because a lot of times what's happening is there's a process that the invoice has gone through and then it hasn't been followed up. And unfortunately, because as a business owner, you're managing all the things, including collecting your payments. But if your payments are not coming in on time, and if you've got something that's 30 days past due, 60 days past due, 90 days past due, and you are not getting answers to the question, then you would reach out to someone like me who can come alongside and teach you the art and science of how to do this and figure out where the disconnects are. Because usually when you're not getting paid, I say it this way: we're answering the question of what had happened was, and we have to answer it through problem solving, number one, customer service, number two, the secret sauce is gratitude, and the last thing, which is the most important thing, is relationship building. Because in order to get paid, you have to build a relationship with the people who actually cut the checks.
And speaking of the people that cut the checks, most of the time you just said that the sales and the collections process, AR process is connected, but the people running those things are often disconnected, right? Like a salesperson isn't probably the person that's making the phone call to actually cut the check. So is there anything about that relationship building process that you really want people to know, or that you feel like entrepreneurs that should be mindful of when it comes to actually getting or collecting the cash, let's say?
Oh, absolutely. One of the most important things you can do is when you're making calls to your clients to find out the status of your payments. Number one, the courtesy you show the person on the other end of the phone is very, very important. Number two, be prepared when you show up for the phone call. Have your invoice, have your account number, verify that you are sending your information to the right department. Number three, thank them. Gratitude. Thank them for taking your phone call, for solving your problem, and also for cutting your check. This is a relationship business. Just like you had to build a relationship to get to sale, you have to build a relationship to collect the cash. Most definitely.
Perfectly said.
Thank
All right,
you.
Dee, we've learned, this is like a mini masterclass, and I've learned so much already, and I'm sure everyone has too. I'll end with the last question that we end with everyone. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered as a person that specializes in problem solving, customer service, and gratitude. When you're in business and in life, you have to always solve problems. You also have to always do customer service. You also have to absolutely express gratitude. And remember this, that you're in the relationship business. Your business and your life grows to the extent that you continue to invest in yourself and build your relationships personally and professionally.
Beautifully said, Dr. Dee Bowden, dropping knowledge. And listen, if you want to connect with her, you can absolutely do that. She's the only Dr. Dee Bowden here in Black Speakers Network, and you can find her at blackspeakersnetwork.com/directory. Actually, fun fact, I think if you just go to the directory and type DEE, you just come right on up. That's how like specific you is. We got to change it so that if you just, did I cut out?
No.
Oh, well, we got to change it so that if you go to the speakers directory, you could just put a $sign in, and then you'll come up like that as well.
Okay, I love it.
But Dr. D,
perfect.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna work.
All right, I appreciate it. That'd be awesome.
D, thank you so much for joining, and again, thank you for being a part of the Black Speakers Network community, and we look forward to continue to work with you.
Likewise. Thanks so much. Take care. Cheers.
All right, guys. So we have two speakers left. Before we go to our two speakers, I'm going to take a quick break. I know some people are probably curious about Black Speakers Network and what it is. And so we're going to show a quick little video to give you a little bit more insight about who we are and what we do. And then we'll be right back. Being at a HBCU like Morgan State University, I saw firsthand the talent, the expertise, the creativity that we bring to the table when it comes to this world of public speaking.
Black Speakers Network is a space where I can interact and engage with my tribe, with Black speakers.
It's all reflective of an abundance mindset that there is enough for all of us to win big.
BSN serves others not only in community, culture, but around the world.
BSN not only helped me book additional paid opportunities, but gave me the accountability and confidence booster I needed to really strive and thrive consistently in my business.
They curate all the engagements and email them to you. So all you have to do is simply click and apply to the one that's applicable for your niche.
I have built my business and have expanded my knowledge, met amazing people, and I have landed several speaking engagements.
I truly thank the entire team behind Black Speakers Network for helping me share my story with the world.
In less than 3 years, I was able to increase my visibility, my credibility, and even my connectivity.
What I experienced with BSN is phenomenal connections. And I've met so many great people that have added value to my life in ways I just wouldn't have expected.
If you want to speak on college stages, there's BSN has something for you. If you want to speak and sell, I feel like BSN has a cohort for you.
At the end of the day, Black Speakers Network is really there for anyone who is longing to reach the audience that they're called to serve.
Black Speakers Network truly is a place where you can feel like you're home.
If you are on the fence, get off the fence and join the family. You won't regret it.
It is the #1 organization that I recommend that every speaker become a member of if you really want to catapult your success and maximize to its fullest potential your voice.
All right, we are back. So hopefully you got a little bit more insight about who we are and what we do. And we are going right to our very next speaker, also here in the DMV area, right out of Washington, D.C. We got Glenda Lezeau in the building. How are you, Glenda? Let us know. First of all, welcome. Welcome to the Black Speakers Network Speaker Spotlight. And tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, Brian. Thanks for actually getting my last name right, because I know that's hard for some folks. So I just had to personally thank you for that. But yes, I'm based in DC. I am a mind coach, author, and mental wellness advocate. I really help people to become empowered and understand their mind. And there's a basis of self-love there. There's a basis of mental health. And all of this came from my personal story, living with bipolar, and my personal transformation that I've done to my mind. And with that being said, once you work on your mind, everything else comes together. So it's real mind, body, and soul connection.
Absolutely. I have so much I want to dig in, so I'm going to try to pick my questions carefully. Well, first of all, can you give us just a little bit of insight? You did share a window, and I know you're very, transparent about your journey with bipolar. I know we might have people listening that not exactly sure what bipolar is. But can you just tell us a little bit more about, what that journey was like and what kind of led you to this point?
Yeah, sure. So generally speaking, bipolar is a mood disorder. So there is this misconception that it's, if you're moody, then you have bipolar. Not necessarily, because you could be moody and not have bipolar, and then vice versa. But it's a mood disorder where it's challenging to regulate your mood. So you can literally spike up to a manic episode really quickly, or you can drop down to a depressive state really quickly. And so my personal journey, I'm going to try to say it in a short period of time because it's a lot. But in November 2011, I had a major psychotic breakdown and had to be hospitalized into the psychiatric unit. I was experiencing symptoms like hallucinations, delusional thoughts. I lost all perception of reality. And I was also in a manic episode, which is kind of like a heightened state. And it was hard for me to get out of that state and be back into reality. So I had to be rushed to the hospital and hospitalized. And that's where I was diagnosed with bipolar.
Wow, that's incredible. And I can imagine kind of going through that. But prior to that, did you have any medical, any mental health, anything? Did you just come out of nowhere, or and also, is that typical?
That's a really good question. I definitely had symptoms. I was just in denial. So I was experiencing some anxiety symptoms, some depressive symptoms, probably for a good 7+ years. And so when that piles up and you're pretending, let me speak, because I'm talking about me right now, act like it's someone else. But I was just pretending it didn't exist and was just pushing it under the rug. And eventually my mind, body, and spirit was just like, Glenda, we can't take this anymore. We don't know how else to let you know, hey, we need help. So yeah, there were symptoms before. It's just they weren't the same symptoms. So I wasn't experiencing hallucinations before. I wasn't experiencing delusional thoughts before. It was when I had that breakdown is when I started experiencing those type of symptoms.
I see. Well, I want to dive into some of your programming. So I know that you have a program, Rising from Bipolars, Turning Symptoms into Blessings. Can you tell us a little bit more about this program and really, who you're trying to ideally serve right now as you're speaking, training, and delivering content?
Yeah. So that's one of my workshops that I either can do B2B or B2C. So I've delivered that workshop to nonprofit organizations, and pretty much it's in the title. It's individuals who are either dealing with mental health symptoms, mental health challenges, or maybe you have a mental health condition. And to give this perspective that you may be having symptoms, but there's a way we could turn that into blessings. Of course, I don't mean that literally. Of course, I'm not saying, yay, you're experiencing anxiety. That's amazing. That's not what it is. But it's about really shifting that perspective and recognizing that these symptoms are actually your teachers, and just really showing participants how to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I love the fact that so you describe yourself as a mental health advocate. And I feel like one of the things that I've learned about advocacy is that you don't necessarily have to be, even though you have this very personal journey that you've gone through, you don't have to be a part of a particular group in order to be an advocate. But do you have any advice for people? I feel like this narrative around mental health is changing, particularly I think in the Black community. Barriers of access have started to come down, and there's more of a conversation around it. But what would you say to people who are, regardless of where they are on their own mental health journey, in terms of being a mental health advocate themselves?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the first step is you need to work on yourself. It's very hard to be a mental health advocate and you're not taking care of your own mental health. So the first step is recognizing that you're honest with yourself when it comes to your mental health journey. That's one. Two, you have to be open to helping someone and listening to individuals and not being so judgmental. And so being able to listen effectively and think, okay, this is what you're going through. I don't know what that's like, but I'm still going to give you space and show up for you. Three, I do want to shout out someone you connected me to, Brian, based in Maryland, well, Baltimore. So there is an organization called GHU. That is what it is. Green Heart University, yes.
Green Heart
And
University.
they actually train and certify mental health advocates. And they tend to really focus on the Black community. But generally speaking, they'll certify you as a mental health advocate. And I've done, thanks to you, Brian, I actually did, I don't think I shared this with you, but I did a course with them as part of their program. And so again, I'm not getting paid for this. I just genuinely believe in the program. So if anyone's interested, go through a program like that because they really touch on all the different aspects of it.
Yeah, no, I think Green Heart University is great. Colleen does an incredible job, and I think that's part of this, right? And I think it's important that whether you're working with organizations or you're working with individuals, Glenda, one of the things that I think is really refreshing is that nobody's going to have all the answers, and I think when we're talking about things like mental health, it's truly being able to provide like wraparound resources and be a conduit of information for other people to be able to get access to. So I think that is perfect.
Thank you.
I'll leave you kind of with a question for everyone. What is it that you want to be known for? We're talking about legacy, and so when it's all over, what do you absolutely want to leave your mark and be known for?
I want to be known as that person who was vulnerable and that empowered others to either go on their own mental health journey or felt empowered to support someone else on their mental health journey. So I feel like me sharing my story and being so vulnerable, of being open, I'm not speaking for others, but I'm speaking openly so that other people don't necessarily have to do it so publicly. So I want to be known for like, wow, Glenda really shaped my perception about the importance of mental health, the importance of your mind. And she did it by sharing her story very vulnerably and very openly.
All right. And I'm sure you're well on your way of doing that. By all indications, Glenda. And so if you are interested in connecting with Glenda, getting, again, more resources on your own mental health journey or those of your people or your community, make sure you connect with her, blackspeakersnetwork.com. And make sure that you put this information to use. But Glenda, I want to thank you again for sharing, also being a part of the Black Speakers Network community. I love the work that you're doing. I'm very interested in making sure that we have a really robust kind of like sub community of mental health professionals from across the spectrum for BSN. So I'm definitely excited that we have folks with deep expertise like you to lean on for things like that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks for having me as a member. I'm just so grateful.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
All right. And guys, just like that, we've made it almost to the end. We have one speaker left. And, she has been patiently waiting, but I'm going all the way over to the West Coast to San Bernardino, California. So we have Miss Melinda Muganzo in the building. And Melinda, I am very excited to have you here. Welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight. And if you don't mind, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm excited to be here today. Thank you, Brian, for the opportunity. I hail from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm a California girl, and what I do is make success a mindset. I am a life transformational coach for individuals, small organizations, and large corporations. I help them make that transition. Sometimes in organizations, they don't know what to do when they feel at a loss, when their employees are dealing with a mediocrity mind frame. So I help them make that change in the workplace.
All right. I love it. And that is absolutely super important right now. I know just as a state of the world, like every company, every organization out here is really struggling, not only just with, getting the right talent in the door. I think sometimes hiring could be the easy part, but then, what do you do once that talent is there, and how do you keep people happy and thriving and actually get work done? Managing people is one of the hardest things in life. So Melinda, I'm glad you're doing that work. Can you tell us a little bit about like your background, your journey, how you got into this? I know we both share Toastmasters in common as well. I know you're a DTM and you've served in a lot of leadership capacity there, which I'm sure has helped. But can you tell us, give us a little bit more insight into your journey into this this training and impact space with leadership?
Yes, I always wanted to be a businesswoman when I was a little girl, 9 years old. I used to carry around a little silhouette, Brian, of a corporate woman. I always wanted to be that woman to make a difference. And I always said I wanted to be CEO of my own organization. So I'm very fascinated with people. I'm very passionate about people development and people growth. And there are too many people out there not really understanding the essence of their being and how they make a difference in society. And even though you get hired by a corporation, it doesn't mean that they know how to tickle your fancy to keep you moving and feeling motivated. Because at the end of the day, how do you feel in the organization? Are you excited to go to work, Brian? You know, so many people go to work, but they're not excited. They're just like, I need my check, so let me show up at work. But the difference in the workplace and have a mindset of being energized and being passionate, that's hard to find today, Brian.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. I spent 11 years in corporate, and I know for a fact that it's a challenge. It's a real challenge, and I think it speaks to a lot. In fact, I want to go to one of your programs because I know you talk about how to be a successful change agent in the midst of toxic leadership. That's the name of one of your programs. So, could you tell us, in your opinion, what is it that you feel actually contributes the most to toxic leadership within organizations?
Yes, they do a lot of things. I would say, first of all, the paradigm of the organization. People are in traumatic situations when they come into the world of work. So they're not really excited about that job. They're taking that job because they have bills to pay. In organizations, people don't know how to motivate individuals. So they don't understand how to find the sequence of that individual. What empowers that person? You got to know how a person ticks, Brian, in order to motivate them. Then also you need to know what that person needs. And so in organizations, those two big issues are just traveling across organizations. And the toxicity lies at the top oftentimes because they don't know. They're all about the product team and the dollar, but they don't know how to make you a person where you can make a difference in the organization.
I get that 100%. So now I know that you can kind of take this content and deploy it into a large frame of a lot of different types of groups and companies. Is there a particular industry or a particular sector, whether it's like government, education, for-profit, nonprofit, large company, small company? Is there a particular type of organization that you personally enjoy working with, or that you just have a track record of producing the most success with?
My track record actually is with all organizations, whether it's small, large, individual, corporate. It doesn't matter the sector. That's just I have a passion for training and developing people. My style is very unique. It is very interactive. I focus on transformation, Brian. That's the key word. Not being transactional, but being transformational with the individuals and even the ones that lead at the top.
Got it. All right. Well, that covers most of the country, so we should be plenty busy. Well, Melinda, this has been incredible. I'm so excited that you're here, part of Black Speakers Network. As my last question that we leave to everyone, can you tell us what is that you want to be remembered for?
I'm known for the ability to transform my clientele. It doesn't matter if it's an individual, organization, or group. I do that. That's the gift God gave me. He also gave me the gift of music, Brian. I am a musician. I speak wellness into the lives of others. That's why I'm here to serve.
Perfect. I did not know that little fun fact. This is part of the reason I love Spotlight, because you never know. I would have never knew that Dee Bowden, love red and white wine. I never knew you had the pipes to combine speaking and singing. So that's great. A little Willie Jolly reminiscent. Listen, Melinda, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for sharing. And again, if you want to connect with Melinda, make sure you go to blackspeakersnetwork.com/speaker directory. You can find all of her information there and a link to her website to learn more about her programs and to book her, or just to be able to get some strategic insight. And that's for individuals as well as for organizations. And so, Melinda, thanks again. I appreciate you. And again, thanks for being a part of the Black Speakers Network community.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for having me. Hello, America. Make success a mindset. Do it.
I love it. Yes, yes, yes. All right, there you have it, folks. We are at the tail end of yet another BSN Speaker Spotlight series. Again, you just heard from 6 incredible speakers. They are all here in Black Speakers Network, and you can get connected with them at blackspeakersnetwork.com at our speakers directory. And again, if you are interested in booking your own Speaker Spotlight interview, I want to talk to you. We're going to keep the series running for as long as we can. We have hundreds of speakers to get through. We've only done a couple dozen so far, and so we still got a ways to go, but the slots fill up fast. And so make sure you head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join. Black Speakers Network, I think I got a banner somewhere. Here it is. blackspeakersnetwork.com/join to become a Black Speakers Network premium member. You heard a little bit of the video before, but essentially, as a BSN premium member, you're getting access to training, you're getting access to resources, as well as speaking opportunities. And not just the Speaker Spotlight, we have access to podcast opportunities through our BSN Spotlight program. Not Spotlight, BSN Podcast Power Match program. We also send out speaking opportunity alerts as they come in, but you're guaranteed to get 5 speaking engagements every single day, Monday through Friday. And these are national conferences, seminars, workshops, associations, as well as virtual and live events across the country. And so if you are looking to get on more stages, we absolutely want to hear from you. Go to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join, become a BSN premium member. And I'm excited to work with you. But as we always say here at Black Speakers Network, we want to encourage you to speak up because your audience awaits. And I will see you on stage. Until next time.